Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Houston Sharpshooters Draft Glory franchise mode here in NHL 22. So in last episode, we had the offseason, and basically we let go of a couple players, so Sam Seadoo has left this team. We also lost Park, which kind of sucked because our goaltending tandem is nowhere near as good as it used to be. But it is still solid with Benson, but Sweat is not really that great of a backup, but it is what it is. And then in terms of the rest of our roster, we did take a hit as well because of losing Sam Seadoo. But as you can see, our team still looks okay because we did bring back a couple former players of ours in the free agent pool, including Caden Sador, who's back after winning a Stanley Cup in Edmonton. So hopefully that adds some experience to our team. And I think, we also re-signed Teresen Baev, who was in free agency, just to fill out our forward core a little bit better. And as you can see, this is our defensive core. McGrattan is going to be making his NHL debut, so excited to see what he could do. And then, like I said, there's our goaltending tandem and whatnot. In terms of the AHL, it's a mess kind of down there. Hopefully some of these guys get development because a lot of them have not been developing that well, seems like. Especially Volchenkov, who you guys told me to draft because he has high top 9 potential. He is not developed really at all. And was an 18th overall pick, so... Like, we could always get him into the NHL since he's got good attributes, but he's just not developing well at the AHL level. Lucic, I think, was in the NHL last year. Yeah, he was, but he's back in the AHL this year. We could always bring him back to the NHL this upcoming season again if, for some reason, nobody else performs. And then we also got a lot of good defensemen down there in the minors, so that's not too bad. And then goalie-wise, it's not really that great. Daryl Goalie, though, is jumping right to the AHL just because of the fact we lost Parks, so that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And we need to throw still a couple players into our roster that are younger. So I will throw Spiller and Umberger. Yeah, Spiller and Umberger need to play on the defensive core over some of those veterans that we just re-signed. Just because our youth takes priority. I would like to keep Schutz in, but I'm going to take a Fenisenkov out. But yeah, those guys, hopefully some of them get into the NHL at some point soon. Hopefully Goddard gets some growth as well, since he's low elite. So that is that. Let me just make sure our special teams look good, because we did sign ourselves a new coach as well. It doesn't look as good as years prior, but it is still not really that bad. Ooh, I don't like that. Can I change up the defense? That might be a little bit better. Yeah, we'll keep it like that. That works. Okay, so yeah, our team went through some changes. We changed coaches. He's got a 70% scheme fit, which is good, so this team might simulate good. But the thing is, with our roster taking some hits, who knows if that's going to be the case. He's actually got a 69% team fit, never mind. But yeah, hopefully this team can do good, and if they don't, like I said, it's not the end of the world, because we could add some more younger good players into our roster, mix them with the players that we currently have, and maybe this team will be better in future years. So anyways, let's get the season simulated, and then we'll take a look at like the draft class and all that stuff, and maybe see who we're going up against in the first round, if that is the case. Because I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs for sure this year, even though last year we made it to the conference finals. So actually, I was going to take a look at where Sam Seadoo and Park signed, because I didn't do that yet, so we'll do that after this preseason just finishes. But it looks like we might have a bad season ahead of us, because we had a very good preseason, 6-0-1, so that's not always a great thing to have. 15 points in 7 games for Kapitanov, jeez. Some of the big UFAs that we signed in the offseason of ours, we only signed them to 2-year deals. So we're trying to keep our contracts a little bit more brief, except for a few guys like Jaskalainen. I want to keep him around long term. So, but let's go to the player search option, and let me just take a look at where our former players signed. So where did Sam Seadoo sign, since he was the big one first, and then we will find out where Park went, and the other guys don't matter that much. I could look up Roach. Seadoo signed in Winnipeg though, and he's making $13.955 for 7 years. Wow. Yeah, I was not gonna pay him $14 million, and especially at that term, because in the NHL with us, he never put up a season better than 81 points. I mean, he has been a good playoff player, but still sucks to lose him. But we kind of had to do that because of the cap situation. And then we also need to find Park, who's our goaltender, our former goalie. Hopefully he finds his way to free agency at some point again, because he was not really with us that long. He's in New Jersey now. Only signed to a 1-year deal at 1.225. We could have re-signed him if I would have checked free agency more periodically instead of once every month. That sucks. But it is what it is. Maybe he'll be a free agency again next year. And we'll take also a look at Roach, because he was another one that it was kind of a big blow, because he's a good solid top 6, but at least McGrattan jumped up, which is good. So Roach signed in Montreal. He's making 2.725 for 3 years, which is more than I expected. More term, more money than I expected as well for a top 6 defenseman. But good luck in Montreal there, Reed. I wonder if any of our guys are going to win Stanley Cups this year that are not on our team. Because last year, Soderstrom went to the Cup Finals, I think, before he lost to Edmonton. So, let's go to... Is this January 1st or December 1st? Let's go to December 1st and see how we do in our first few months of action. And yeah, hopefully this team can do somewhat decent still. But like I said, it does not really matter if that's not the case. Because we could draft some good players, probably. Because we probably could use a draft where we get like a really good player. But at the same time, we might end up losing players because of that. Like, this team might go through a retooling phase, but with the new head coach, who knows? So far, not too bad. Kind of staying right around 500, which is better than, like, losing a bunch of games, obviously. And then when we do lose games, some of them are extra frame losses, so I'll definitely take that. A lot of extra frame games so far. And 12-8-4, that's not terrible. It's not the greatest, but, I mean, if we squeak into the playoffs, maybe we're going to be better than normal. Jasklinen's got 22 points in 24 games. He's still doing really good. And we're only 1 point above 3 teams that are trying to fight to get into the playoffs. Damn. That's actually nuts. Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting year to see if we actually make the playoffs or not. We might just barely miss. We might just barely make it. Who knows? Really at this stage. Interesting. Let's continue to simulate, because I'm not going to make much changes to this roster at all as we sim through the season, because this is kind of, like I said, we might have retooling years ahead of us, because we don't have a lot of time left to win a Stanley Cup, but we might have to retool for a bit, just because of how this team has lost its key guys over the last few years. I'm kind of okay, though, with it, because we've kept Jasklinен on this team, because Jasklinen is probably the channel legend from this series, I would say, if I'm picking anybody on this roster. So I'm okay that we've lost like Sea-Doo. Morales could have been a channel legend, but unfortunately he went to Pittsburgh. 17-14-6 is not a great record by any means. We are in a wild card spot, only by a couple points too, or by 1 point. Yeah, that's not great, but yeah, everybody's under point per game this year. Let's readjust the lines a little bit and see if we can get other lines going a little bit. Let's move Scuderi top line, Capitan off to the second line. Let's also try and flip-flop this around a little bit. Let's move McGrattan up. Move Hedman with Sedin. I don't like that Blacker's all the way down there, though. This coach is a defensive-heavy coach, which is interesting. I might do that. He might. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Teratukin and Blacker. I think I had these top 4 together last year. And then McGrattan could play with Yip. Yeah, that's not that bad. Is McGrattan on the power play since he's an OFD? No, he's not. And is what it is. Eventually I'll get him some power play time. Hopefully I could keep McGrattan a while here for quite a while as well with the other defensemen, because he will work well with a bunch of veterans probably. Let's go another month, see if we could get a better read on this wildcard situation. Because I wouldn't mind making the playoffs still. Because if, like I said, if we just barely squeak in, even there's a good chance we could maybe make some damage, but who knows. Maybe it's not good to make the playoffs too, because maybe we just need that draft prospect to send us to the next level again. So 3 straight losses, which is not good going into February. 24-19-7. Still not great, but it's still not bad. We're 2 points still up on the Stars, and then 3 points up on the Blackhawks, and the Blues are way out of it, so that's not that bad. How about over there? Over there, there's teams that are literally 1 point back of us as well, so there is a dogfight to see who gets into the playoffs. Thornton leading away with 43 points through 50 games, so yeah, this is probably going to be our worst offensive season, because we've lost some key players on offense over the years, so kind of makes sense. Let's go to a day before the deadline. Obviously, we're not making trades because this is the Drafted Glory. But 3 straight wins to start the month is good, but then we go on a 3-game losing streak. Of course, 4-game losing streak, then there's a win. Yeah, we're a very inconsistent team right now, but I'll take it. But that was a pretty successful month, I would say. 31, 24, and 7. We are now out of a playoff spot, though, which is questionable. Only 1 point back of the Preds, and only 1 point back of the Oilers. Yikes. Okay, so the Oilers and the Preds are the 2 teams that we're kind of fighting with the most. And Gene Thornton's almost point per game now, so Thornton's really turned it on at least. But it's going to be a dogfight to the end to see if we actually get into the playoffs or not. If we just barely miss the playoffs, it's going to kind of suck. But maybe we'll win a draft lottery because of that, who knows. But yeah, I want to get into the playoffs almost to an extent, because anything could happen once you get in there. Okay, let's continue to simulate. We'll go like 2 weeks at a time as we look to try and get ourselves into the playoffs. So let me just pass this deadline, just because we do not care about the trade deadline. There you go. But yeah, I wonder where our former players are and seeing if they're winning the Stanley Cup. We just beat Toronto. That's a nice win. Let's go to the 11th and see how we do in these 2 weeks. Hopefully we could get some ground up on the wild card situation. There's a win over Nashville, which is huge. We do lose to the Flyers, but we are in a wild card spot now. Looks like Edmonton got knocked out. No, Edmonton's now in a normal spot. The Kings are knocked out. But we are in the first wild card spot. So we are doing pretty good. We need to just keep on winning games, boys, and we'll be in the playoffs again. Let's do another 2 weeks. Game against Ottawa is a win. Another win. Another win. We're winning right when it matters, but I'm kind of scared that we're still going to be a first-round exit. Wow, what a winning streak all of a sudden. 6 wins in a row. Okay. 41, 25, and 8. And we are 3rd place now. We're not even in a wildcard spot. This team might actually make the playoffs with a roster that took another big hit, which is weird. And we're 9-1 in our last 10, so I don't really want to go on into the playoffs still on a winning streak because I feel like then we're just going to get swept, but you never really know. Let's do another week. 4 games this week. We do win that one as well. Okay, so we had an 8-game winning streak and then it ended. There's a win over Rangers, though. Did we clinch a playoff spot? Yes, we did, and we're somehow first in our division. What the heck is this? How do we randomly just become first in our division? I mean, it is really tight, but that is kind of weird. I don't know how this team is a division winner with a 76 overall backup, but I'm not going to ask questions. Last 4 games of the season, we lose, we lose, we lose, and we lose. So 4-game losing streak. Definitely didn't win our division, but we do go into the playoffs on a losing streak, which means maybe we'll start winning right as the playoffs start. That would be really nice if that is the case. So let's just advance today so the rest of the season can get done. So we finished in 4th in our division with 97 points, just 4 points above a team that did not make the playoffs. That's good. Huh, interesting. If we were in the Pacific Division, we'd be 2nd place, which is kind of weird. So our division is just really stacked, apparently. And we had everybody on our team was under point per game, yet we were a playoff team. Interesting. Let's take a look at our team stats and our player stats and around the league as well. And then we'll see who we're going up against in round 1, which I'm kind of surprised we're in the playoffs, to be honest. To an extent, but it could be our new coach, I guess. We finished 11th best in the NHL. Not too bad. Goals for per game wise. Did I see we scored 2.9? Yeah, we were not a good offensive team at all, apparently. But that's okay. 2.9. We were a good goals against team, though. We were top 10 best in defense. So we're kind of average in everything. Well, terrible in offense, good in defense. Power play was dog crap. The worst power play I've seen, probably because our coach is not a good power play specialist type coach, like our other coaches we had in the past. 12.7%. And our penalty kill, 82.1%, is not that great either. So we got into the playoffs with having good defense, and that's it. Regular strength. We had 4 shorthanded goals. We had a good home record and a better road record. Interesting. Kind of a weird year to make the playoffs. Let's take a look at our player stats. So Jaskalainen, 64 points and a plus 19. Pretty good for the fact that this team has been dropping off in quality. Love to see it. He's almost approaching 1,000 points in his career already as well. This guy's definitely a channel legend. Will he win another Selke is the question. 55% on the draw, so a little bit worse than prior years, but still 145 takeaways, so yeah, maybe. If he wins the Selke this year, that would be his 5th straight season with a Selke trophy, which would be pretty nuts. So there's that. Chad Burns, 59 points is pretty solid. I would take that from him. Ortiz, 51 points, not too bad. 26 goals. Love to see that. Pasquale, 26 points, not too bad. Tursenbayev, 22, and Patan, 14. Good to bring those guys back on our team. I don't know if it was Patan I actually brought back. No, it was Sador. Tursenbayev I brought back. Thornton, 71 points, not too bad. Forster, 23 points, and Sador, 16, not too bad. Right wing wise, Kapitanov and Scuderi both had 53 points. Good season from Scuderi. And Afenisenkov had 31, which is kind of a surprise for a 77, but I'll take it. Not too bad of the offensive depth scoring. And then defensively, good stuff from our defense. Maybe our defense is the reason why we got into the playoffs. Yeah, it actually is. So this defensive core helped us get into the playoffs. Without it, we wouldn't be a playoff team. But Teratukin, 52 points. Dean, 41. Hedman, 27. Blacker, 22. And then McGrattan and Yip were 14 and 13. Not bad. Only minus player on the defense was Hedman. And then goalie-wise, Benson was pretty average, I would say. A 902 is not bad, and a 286 isn't bad. But he had no shutouts, which is kind of interesting. We only had one shutout this year, and it came from Alex Sweat, who's a 76. Interesting. Wonder who's going to be the playoff goalie, considering they both had very similar stats. But we'll start Benson for sure, but if he doesn't do good, maybe Sweat's a playoff goalie. So there is that. Let's take a look around the league to see who led the league in points and all that. So the best forward in points this year is Chiodu with 114 in Columbus. Any former players up there? Not that I see. Most goals this year was Rick Hawley with 67. That guy had like 70-something last year. Yeah, 71 last year, so not a surprise that he's still up there. Kind of surprising he's still doing that without McDavid and Draisaitl being in Edmonton. Oh no. That is our former player, Dmitry Korostin. He is in Columbus, and somehow he just had a 51-goal season in 95 points. Where the heck did that come from? He left us, went to San Jose, had 43 points, was a minus 47 in San Jose, which is crazy. But then goes to Boston, plays a really good season, signs as a free agent in Columbus, and has a good season. So all of a sudden, Korostin is apparently a really good player. And he's signed to a really good deal as well in Columbus. Wow. Man. Didn't expect Korostin all of a sudden to be that type of player, but it sucks that we lost out on him. I guess he needed a good team to be around first to do that type of thing. Defensively, the best defenseman in points was Halinica, 82 points. Any former defenseman up there? Teratukin's still up there for us, which is good. Most goals by a defenseman, Wyman with 21. Best goalie this year is Patrick Hammerla in Tampa Bay, and then also Tommy Rantanen. Most shutouts this year was Xander Nilsson with 8. Best save percentage, Hammerla, and best goals against average is going to be Xander Nilsson. Any goalie goals this year for fun? Nope. Goalie assist wise, Gustafsson had 7 assists. Wow, that is crazy. Benson had 3 assists this year for us, which is kind of surprising. And former goalie Stefan Soderstrom, who's playing with Korostin right now in Columbus, had 3. He actually had a really good season as well, 31, 9, and 2. Didn't play a full season by comparison to most starters. But interesting season from Stefan Soderstrom. Sucks that we don't have him anymore. And then best rookie this year for points was Francisco Salvador in New York. Interesting. So there is the player stats for the season. Now we got to take a look at who we're going up against in round 1, and then that'll be it for this episode. All playoff episodes will be pre-recorded, just a heads up on that again, because like I said, I like to pre-record those way ahead of time. So we're going to be taking on the Minnesota Wild in the first round, who went 48, 29, and 5. They're 6-3 and 1 in their last 10. Interesting. I think we played them. Did we play them last year when we went to the conference finals, or no? I don't think so. I don't remember what year we played them. I know we played them before. I just don't remember what year. Unless I'm thinking my Arizona mode, but I'm not 100% sure with that. So first line, Javon Sanders, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Gabriel Kaprizov. This is going to be a really tough matchup for sure. Good top line, a little bit weak on the center, but it's okay. And then second line, Evan Cummins. They also have Nicholas Robertson still. They have Timo Latikainen. Yeah, this team is a little bit weak in a sense, but they're not bad. Like, they have a lot of 70s and stuff, but third line, Kimmo Ristolainen, Nelson Silverthorne still there, and Torsten Ackerland. And a fourth line of Patrick Takashi, Connor McMichael, and Mikhail Ovechkin. Interesting. So yeah, that's a really weird looking roster. Don't really know what to make of it. Defensively, they got Oda and Grant, Liston and Watkins, and then Punnett and Fernandez. Not a bad defensive core, but it's not anything flashy, I would say. And then goalie-wise, they do still have good goaltending, Nemes and Wallstead, which we played both these guys multiple times before, but looks like Nemes dropped off a little bit. And then depth-wise, they have Travis Dermott, they have Sam Dunham, and Vladimir Vishnevsky. So overall-wise, I really don't know what to make of that team. We just got to probably shut down like Javon Sanders, Karel Kaprizov, those type of guys. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Houston Sharpshooters Draft to Glory. So in next episode, we will take it to round 1 against the Minnesota Wild as we look to be the underdog in this playoff run and hopefully get our way to the second round again. Sliding guessing down below, and I'll see you guys next time.